Josh, are we ready to have the conversation about Jalen Brunson being the greatest Knick of all time? Are we ready to come to that conclusion? And there are a lot of people I think that are saying if he was going to win the finals and he was going to win Finals MVP, then that conversation would just pretty much be over, right? And listen, last week you and I had a little bit of fun with this conversation because we literally sent texts out to people asking them this question, like, what happens if this? We honestly wanted to hear more about who the greatest Knick was now. Like, forget about, if Brunson and the Knicks won the title, who was it before that? And you and I expected to hear a lot more Patrick Ewing, and we didn't.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I was fully expecting for people to start saying Patrick Ewing, Patrick Ewing, Patrick Ewing. That just wasn't what we heard. We heard a lot of Walt Frazier. We heard a lot of, like Jalen Brunson's already hit. Like, I don't know, Josh. How do we feel now that the finals are over and the Knicks are champions, Brunson's finals MVP? Are we ready to crown him the greatest Knick of all time? Are we there yet?
My personal opinion, no, but we're close. To me, Patrick Ewing and Clyde Frazier, both of them are definitely more of the face of New York. But Brunson right now is leading to being the most successful.
Right.
Now, one of the key, responses that I got when we were texting friends of ours was, hold on, Brunson's only been a Knick for 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's valid. However, I'm not even saying they have to win another championship. Let's say they get to another conference finals. Brunson continues to be an all-star starting guard. Brunson's in MVP conversations. Brunson continues to lead this team to multiple 50-plus win seasons. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when he would be considered the greatest Knick of all time.
Yeah, right.
And it's interesting out here in LA because in wonderful LA sports fashion, no matter what the topic is, everyone tries to make it come back to being related to the Lakers. But a topic came up on one of the local radio shows here that I want to throw out at you with all the success of the Knicks and Jalen Brunson. And the way they spun it with the Lakers was they were saying, if you were able to ask Kobe Bryant today, who is his favorite player in the NBA, how confident are you that his answer would be Jalen Brunson? And yeah, I feel very confident his answer would be Jalen Brunson.
I think it would either be him or Anthony Edwards, in my mind.
Sure. I could also see Tatum because Tatum looked up to him so much and all that. But as far as the Mamba mentality, as far as the putting the team on your back, as far as the just focused on the task at hand, not getting into any other weird news stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
It is completely Jalen Brunson to a T.
Yeah.
And it's going to be things like that will catapult him, even though he's already in the conversation as one of the 3 best Knicks of all time, argument of in the top 2 within a couple years. I mean, again, if they get back to the finals, win or lose, if they get to the finals again with him, it's hands down him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think all recency bias aside, right? Because like, I think, like, obviously Clyde Frazier has a big argument in that discussion. He was a Knick for 10 years. Clyde Frazier also only played till he was 34 years old. which is interesting. But so there's a portion of that there. Ewing, I think, certainly has an argument. He was in 15 years.
Yeah.
And listen, like he was an 11-time All-Star, 3-time All-Defensive Team, 7-time All-NBA. Like Patrick
Dream
Ewing's
teamer, all that. Yeah.
One of the 6 or 7 best centers of all time. So it really kind of depends on what you think is more important, right? Like Patrick Ewing never won a title in New York.
Yeah.
It came close a couple of times, but he never won a title in New York. So again, it depends on how you look at this conversation of how important are titles to you when you're talking about like all-time individual greatness.
Yep.
Right. It also, I think goes into like how much you value things like, I don't know, like individual accolades and stuff like that over the course of your career. So Jalen Brunson, I think, has a very strong argument because of the title. But you're right. He's only been a Knick for 4 years. So in 4 years of him being a Knick, has he already, like, are his 4 years greater than Patrick Ewing's 15? Are his 4 years greater than Walt Frazier's 10? Like, those are the questions I think you have to ask and put into perspective. And some people, and I wouldn't even call these people wrong, I think some people would say, yeah, because the state of what the Knicks were in after however many years of being a joke in the league. I mean, for pretty much all of the 2000s, Josh, right from 2000 to now, they were a joke. Like, they really were. It wasn't until recently that they became not a joke.
Right.
So it depends on how important you kind of take that into consideration. So I almost tend to lean towards, like, it might be recency bias, but it also just might be straight up valid. Like, Jalen Brunson has revived the Knicks in a way that we didn't think that was possible.
Yep.
And he's done it almost entirely by himself. I mean, like, I think the Knicks have done a really good job building around him, right? I thought the trade that they made for Karl Anthony Towns was really, like, that was a big one. Like, it really gave them another real weapon to go at people with instead of Julius Randle, who's a fine player, but not a number 2 on a championship team, right? And then you build around him by giving up an absolute monster amount of picks for Mikal Bridges and then trading for OG Anunoby, who obviously was a huge success. So, like, they've done so really brilliantly. Yeah. But at the same time, if you think about it too, Josh, especially in Game 5 of this finals, Jalen Brunson carried the Knicks in that game.
Yes, he did.
Carried them. Like, people got to remember how poorly the Knicks played in Game 5. The Knicks were not good in Game 5. They shot 35% in Game 5. They shot 32% from 3. Right? Like, they just were not great. They were not great. They were down by 16 at one point. Jalen Brunson had 45 points.
And how many points did they score total? It was under 100, right?
94.
So he had 45 of their 94 points.
Damn near half of the Knicks' points.
Yeah.
And listen, anybody can tell you, and I would be a huge proponent of this, that scoring is not everything in the NBA. You have to be able to do the other stuff too. Right. Jalen Brunson's not a great defender. He's a fairly average passer when it comes to, like, being a point guard, but damn, can he score the basketball and can he score it in a big spot? Like, that's so big for what they are. The next highest scorer on the team was Mikal Bridges. He had 14 points. Jalen Brunson at 45. The next highest guy was 14. Karl Anthony Towns, who I just said was the guy that they got, like their true number 2 acquisition. Like that was the thing that got them, I think, again, another step over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
Had 2 points and fouled out after 22 minutes.
Yep.
Like Jalen Brunson carried them unlike anything I've ever seen. And I don't know that the Knicks, and again, I'm a young guy. I didn't see a whole lot of Ewing when Ewing was in his prime. So like maybe I'm wrong. But I also think when you look at the grand scheme of things, and if you want to be the one that says, well, we got to wait for Jalen Brunson's career to kind of round itself off, right? We got to wait. Like Jalen Brunson's 29. He's got 10 more years left. Like we got to wait until then for him to be a 10-year New York Knick to get there. I think that's fair enough. Mm-hmm. But I think he's already, like, if his career were to go another 10 years, and this is still the peak of his accomplishments, I don't know that I'd be willing to say he isn't the greatest Knick of all time still.
Right.
If this is the peak of what he does, he doesn't win any more titles with the Knicks, right? He never wins an MVP, right? Maybe he gets a couple more All-NBAs, something like that. Mm-hmm. If this is the peak of what he is in his career, I don't know that I'd be willing to say he isn't the best Knick of all time, 10 years down.
Now let me throw another thing at you, just because I like having fun and stirring the pot. Mm-hmm. Let's say at today's parade, when Jalen Brunson spoke at City Hall, let's just say he announced his retirement. Mm-hmm. Let's just say, you know what, I'm done because I can't top what we just did. Is he a Hall of Famer? And I got all of everything in front of me, so I'll give you. So 8 seasons, career 19 points a game, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 All-Star appearances, 3-time NBA second team, 1 Clutch Player of the Year award, surprisingly only 1, and then, of course, the Finals MVP with everything we just saw. I think the answer is yes, because of the impact. Stats-wise, you wouldn't think so, but then when you throw the impact and what he did for a franchise,
yeah,
I mean, think he's Hall of Fame already.
I mean, look, I think it's so hard for me to say, right? Like, it's so hard for me to say what's a Hall of Famer and what isn't when it comes to basketball. It's so gray for me because I think there are players that are either in or are going to get in that I don't think should or shouldn't have, just because the argument that I always use is Dennis Rodman, right? Like, Dennis Rodman, I think, like, as good of a player as Dennis Rodman was, and like I said, scoring is not everything, and Dennis Rodman is certainly one of the better defensive players of all time. He's a terrific rebounder. For a guy that was 6'8", he was an incredible rebounder. But the guy averaged 7 points in his career. Mm-hmm. He averaged 7 points in his career. He had averaged 2 assists. He was a defensive and rebound. Like, he was essentially Mitchell Robinson that played 35 minutes a game. Like, is that a Hall of Famer? I don't know. Maybe he might be good enough. Like, I that's what I would say. Like, outside of him obviously being crazy, but like, so I don't know, maybe that's good enough for him to be in the Hall of Fame, but like, if that's the bar, then I think, I think Jalen Brunson is already a better all-time player than Dennis Rodman is. So like, if that's the bar, then like Jalen Brunson is better than Draymond Green. Draymond Green's going to be a first ballot NBA Hall of Famer. Are you kidding me? Like, so if that's the line, then yes. You know, but I think in other sports, Josh, it's just hard. Like, in other sports, I feel like it's harder to get enshrined than it is in basketball. It just is, right? Like, you've got Major League Baseball players that have, like, you've got guys that have hit 500 home runs in Major League Baseball and are not going to get into the Hall of Fame. Right. You've got guys in the NFL that have won more than one Super Bowl and they're not going to get into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Right? Like, Eli Manning beat Tom Brady twice. and in the Super Bowl, and he might not get into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Like it's those kind of things that you have to talk about. Draymond Green's going to average a triple single and get into the Hall of Fame. Like at this point, is Steve Kerr a Hall of Famer as a player? Like because he hit one big shot in his career? Like I don't know. Like so that's a tough conversation for me to have. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if that's the bar we're setting, Josh, then yes.
Yeah, I think I honestly think if he were to somehow retire today, because it's a combination of not just your stat in basketball, it's a combination typically of not just your stats, but what impact did you put on the game or on the franchise that you played for.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, all of a sudden, Jalen Brunson today is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we know he's still got 7 to 10 more years.
Yeah. Yeah. I so we'll see what his career ends up looking like.
Mm-hmm.
I just am, I don't know. I'm amazed that, you know, for a guy that was doubted as much as he was when the Knicks brought him in.
And I was one of those people that completely, I'm like, why are they giving him this much money? That was my single worst take I've ever been public with. Was the Knicks just overpaid for Jalen Brunson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was wrong.
I was wrong. It looks okay.
I was wrong. I can admit it.